make a post. This post is on various social media aspects, whether it's on my new LinkedIn Live, which is I was just approved yesterday. Thank you, LinkedIn team, for this opportunity to be able to broadcast live. I appreciate you. This is also on my Facebook page and Periscope. And I wanted to talk about what's happening in DC today. I don't want to discuss the election results in Georgia. I think that should be a different conversation. I want to give it its rights, its significance, and its just due respect. I don't want to discuss anything in the past in terms of people are comparing this to Charleston, Virginia. People are comparing this with other heinous acts in our history. I just want us to talk about have a snapshot of today, of what's going on now. And this is the chaos that's happening, the rioting, the standoff that it's some news stations are calling this in Washington, D.C. at the Capitol, at the U.S. Capitol, with Trump supporters. And let me first say, one, people are not a monolith. I don't think that myself or many other non-white people think that all white people think and act like this. I want to say that first because I think that's very important to state that individuals are not monoliths, but we have societal factors that cultivate us into directions that we think, that we believe in. And I think it's really important for us to challenge that and to see what's the best direction to make us the best human beings. So there's a place where we are going to call other people out, and people will call me out too, so that we can become better humans. So my statement today is out of love, and it's most importantly is out of concern for our society, for the infrastructure, because this was incited by a leader whom was elected 4 years ago to represent the entire body of the United States, not a particular specialty group. A lot of people like to give the person who excited this group benefit of the doubt because any other leader can do this to their base. Well, when your base is over 350 million people, and your base consists of people who did not elect you, but you have the responsibility of policies and their livelihoods. You're placed in a different space, and you must understand that, and you must have consequences with that. And so this is directly created by, you're right, Nathaniel, it is beyond poor leadership. That's actually a great point, because this is something that's totally different than what happened from 2000 to 2008, which is not a bright part in our history as well, but could be discussed in terms of the macro terms. People thought that time was a bad age, but people now see the Trump presidency, the Trump era in the White House really caused divisiveness, and not in a productive way. Literally, I'm noticing things that was stated that was typically supposedly a human or an American type of principle, like support your police, right? And use all type of force of people who are trying to protest. Well, now the people who are yelling, some people, not all people, who were supporting police when they were attacking African Americans, blacks in America, are now, assaulting them, disrespecting them, Yet I don't see the type of outrage or the retaliation the police departments would do if there were a group of peaceful African American protesters. There's data points of the last 6 or 7 years. There's data points of the last 70 years on this, and this is a shame. This is a tragedy, and we as a country need to do better. We need to be better. It's not all of our jobs to tell people what to do, what to think, but it is really important for us to play our part. And playing our part is doing the right thing in your space. If you are a head of a household and you have the power to influence your son, your daughter, your husband, your wife, your granddaughter, your grandson to think a way that should uplift people and not hate and not hatred, it's your responsibility to make that decision at that point, so that they can be fed nourishment so that we can have a healthy society. What's happening is the deterioration of society, if you will. And by having a leader incite some sort of thing under false pretenses. One, they're attacking people who were his allies, now making enemies day by day via Twitter, is shameful. And what that does is shows someone in absolute power abusing that power to get his way. And that's not leadership. Leadership is always the people you're responsible for first, then yourself in the background. If you do that effectively, if you support and care for the people who you are responsible for, which the president is responsible for the entire population of the country. It's not for one particular position. In fact, this was why a lot of African Americans were very critical on President Barack Obama, because he didn't go all black in certain things. He was being a servant of people. Trump's not doing that. And this is a disaster. I just want to share that because we need to heal. We need to communicate with one another. We need to understand that this is an emotional subject. So people are going to be touchy. I'm touchy on this subject, and I'm working on it now because I honestly see the hypocrisy, and I've witnessed the hypocrisy for years now, and it's boiling over. And this anxiety from 2020 is carried over now with us, and this is not healthy. I refuse for this to happen in my life and in the people that I'm responsible's lives. And so I'm going to do the best I can to ensure we create policies that helps communities and society in our system, not one particular people who are upset over subjective things, who are opposed to people through hatred. Yes. Thank you, LinkedIn user. I don't see your name, but I appreciate you reaching out. This is horrible. This is atrocious. I want to first say, and Micah, thank you for reaching out too, and thank you for all the service that you do for our country, Micah Hill. We're better than this, America. We're better than this, and we are going to always have disputes. We're always going to debate. We're not going to like one another. But what we've always done is, especially decision makers, people who have been in this space of power, who are responsible for their loved ones and people who are impacted by them, will think about that in terms of every decision that they make. And those leaders are as objective as possible to make the best solution available. This type of person is being spiteful and is using false narratives to rile people up who have similar hatred and similar insecurities. And this is going to be the unfolding of our society. And what's ironic is that everyone has been finding mechanisms to prevent African Americans from destroying our country. Well, look, It's not us. Anyway, this is horrible. This is my first time on LinkedIn Live. Thank you very much for this post. I want to keep this going. Please give me your feedback. I will probably log on this week to continue this dialogue, but I wanted to pay special attention on what's happening in Washington, D.C. and state that this isn't right. There's a better way of doing this. And secondly, if people use the argument of this is the only way they can exercise their power, that's not accurate, because that is showing an amount of privilege. There's a difference between access and availability, or someone who chooses not to do something. Not having access or not being privy to doing things by law is what historic disenfranchised populations deal with every day in America, starting with the indigenous people here, where even to this day, there are things we are occupying their lands, right? And so it moves on to Black people, people of African descent. There were policies in us to prohibit us to do things, not us having an option, yes or no, and obliging. That's very different than this plaque that I'm seeing this nationalist movement happen in this country. And so we have to ensure that we continue. We fight for what's right, righteousness, and you always trust your loved ones, but also there are reasons why laws exist. Laws need to be changed, but laws also provide order, and there's an order of things to change those laws. We have to keep that. We have to entrust that in that system so that we can ensure stability in our society. We need to change a lot of things, but if we don't have any structure, there'll be anarchy and chaos. All right. I'll talk to you all later. You all have a good one. Bless you. Peace and blessings, and y'all be safe out there. Thanks.